Imagine it's October 30th, 2023. You are standing shoulder to shoulder with 40,000 souls inside the cauldron of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The floodlights cut through the North London night like spotlights on a stage. The air vibrates with raw anticipation. Tottenham Hotspur lead Liverpool by a single goal in a Premier League battle that feels like it could decide seasons. The crowd noise swells like thunder rolling across the stands. Liverpool fans behind the goal are urging one final push. Pressure sits heavy on every player's shoulders. Everyone expects a moment of magic from Mohamed Salah or a defensive masterclass from the home side. What nobody expects is the storm that is about to break over one invisible line on the pitch. Luis Diaz receives the ball on the left. He accelerates. Salah has seen the run. The pass is threaded with surgical precision. Diaz takes a touch, composes himself under pressure, and rifles a beautiful strike across the goalkeeper into the far corner. The away end erupts. Scarves fly. Fists punch the air. For one beautiful second, it feels like justice. Then the assistant referee's flag rises. Offside. The roar dies in thousands of throats. Confusion spreads like wildfire. VAR is checking. The stadium holds its breath. If you love untold football stories and hidden moments from the beautiful game, subscribe now. Because the story you're about to hear changed football history forever. What followed that night was one of the most extraordinary refereeing admissions in modern football. The goal was wrongly disallowed. Replays would show Diaz was clearly onside. The VAR team, led by Darren England, made a catastrophic communication error. They mistakenly believed the on-field decision had been to award the goal rather than disallow it for offside. So instead of correcting the clear and obvious error, they said, "Check complete." Liverpool lost the match 2-1. Later, the audio was released. You can hear the disbelief in the replay operator's voice as the mistake dawns on everyone. PGMOL, the body overseeing officials, called it a significant human error. Hearts were broken. Trust was fractured. And millions of fans around the world were left asking the same question. What exactly is the offside rule, and why has this single law caused more arguments, more rewritten history, and more tactical revolutions than perhaps any other in sport? To understand that disallowed goal in 2023, we must travel back more than 160 years to the muddy fields of Victorian England, where the beautiful game was still finding its soul. In 1863, when the Football Association first codified the laws to separate football from rugby, the offside rule was born out of necessity. Early versions were brutally strict. Any player ahead of the ball when it was played was offside. The game became a cautious, backward passing affair. Forwards hung around the halfway line like ghosts, afraid to advance. Combination play was almost impossible. Matches were often dull, low-scoring affairs that threatened the sport's popularity. Something had to change. By 1866, the law evolved into the famous three-player rule. An attacker was offside unless there were at least three opponents, including the goalkeeper, between him and the goal line. This opened the game up. Passing triangles became possible. Teams began to combine. Football started to breathe. For nearly 6 decades, this rule defined the sport. But as the game professionalized, after the turn of the century, a new defensive weapon emerged that would nearly strangle its progress. Enter Bill McCracken. The Irish fullback for Newcastle United became known as the Offside King. Between 1904 and 1924, McCracken and his teammates Billy Hampson and Frank Hudspeth perfected what journalists called McCrackenism, or the offside trap. Under the three-player rule, they would step forward in perfect unison the moment an opponent played a forward pass, leaving attackers stranded offside. It was ruthless in its simplicity and devastatingly effective. Newcastle's defense became almost impenetrable. Opponents grew furious. Crowds booed. There were even reports of pitch invasions. Referees were blowing their whistles up to 40 times a match. One journalist wrote that McCracken forced opponents to think, and that has never been a popular mission. Games became tactical chess matches dominated by one cunning idea. The beautiful game was in danger of becoming a stop-start bore. Fans stayed away. The authorities knew drastic action was required. The turning point came on June 13, 1925, in a meeting room in Paris. The International Football Association Board voted to change Law 11 forever. From the 1925-26 season onward, only 2 opponents would need to be between the attacker and the goal line. The three-player rule was dead. The two-player rule was born. The impact was immediate and seismic. In English football, average goals per game jumped from around 2.6 to nearly 3.7 in a single season, an increase of more than 40%. Attackers suddenly had space. Wingers flew down the flanks. Center forwards could time runs with greater freedom. The game felt reborn. But every revolution creates new problems. Defenses were suddenly exposed. Managers scrambled for answers. One of them was a visionary named Herbert Chapman at Arsenal. Working with player Charlie Buchan, Chapman realized the old 2-out-of-3-5 pyramid formation was now obsolete. He developed what became known as the WM formation. The center half was pulled back to become a stopper between the fullbacks, creating an effective back three. The wing halves pushed forward. The inside forwards dropped deep to link play. It looked like a W in attack and an M in defense. Arsenal went from mid-table also-rans to dominant champions in the 1930s, winning league titles and FA Cups while perfecting a counter-attacking style built around the new offside geometry. Chapman had turned the rule change into an empire. The tactical map of football was redrawn forever. Every high defensive line you see in the modern game, every coordinated press, every calculated offside trap owes its existence to that 1925 decision and Chapman's response. Before we continue, I want to hear your opinion. What do you think really happened here? Let me know in the comments. To truly understand why that Luis Diaz goal caused such chaos in 2023 and why the rule continues to spark debate more than a century later, we need to examine exactly how the offside law stands today. The current law, 11, as defined by IFAB and FIFA, is both elegantly simple and fiendishly nuanced. It is not an offense simply to be in an offside position. That is crucial. A player is only in an offside position if any part of their head, body, or feet is in the opponent's half of the pitch, excluding the halfway line itself, and any part of their head, body, or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. Note those words carefully. Any part, not the torso, not the feet. Even a shoulder or a toe can put you offside. Hands and arms do not count, a clarification that came in 2005 because, as the lawmakers put it, there is no advantage to be gained if only the arms are ahead. The offense is only called if, at the exact moment your teammate plays or touches the ball, you are in that offside position and you become involved in active play. There are 3 ways this happens. First, if you play or touch the ball. Second, if you interfere with an opponent, blocking their line of vision, challenging for the ball, or clearly impacting their ability to play it. Third, if you gain an advantage from being in that position, perhaps by reacting first to a rebound off the goalkeeper or the post. Level is onside. Since 1990, if you are level with the second last defender, or even level with the last 2 opponents, you are onside. Before that change, being level had been offside. That single tweak encouraged attacking play even further. Imagine the tension in a packed stadium, the striker times, his run to perfection, staying perfectly level with the last defender as the ball is played. The flag stays down, the crowd roars. That moment of perfect synchronization is pure football poetry. Now picture the opposite. The classic offside trap. The entire defensive line steps up as one, like a well-drilled military unit, the exact instant the ball is played. The attacker is caught a yard too far forward. The flag goes up. The attacking team howls in frustration. There are vital exceptions that every fan should know. You cannot be penalized for offside if you receive the ball directly from a goal kick. This prevents goalkeepers from being unfairly punished when clearing their lines. You are also onside if you are in your own half of the field. If the ball is deliberately played by an opponent, not a deflection or a save, but a deliberate kick or header, then offside is not called, and passive offside is one of the most misunderstood concepts. A player can be standing in an offside position, doing absolutely nothing, not touching the ball, not interfering. If the play develops without him becoming involved, the referee may waive play on. These nuances create endless debate in pubs and living rooms across the globe. The introduction of VAR in 2019 was meant to bring justice. Instead, it magnified the law's precision to an almost microscopic level. Lines are drawn on screens, millimeters decide fates. Celebrations that last 30 seconds are cut dead while viewers wait for 3D calibration. Semi-automated systems at major tournaments have reduced human drawing error, but the emotional cost remains. Fans feel robbed of pure joy. Players run to the corner flag only to have the moment stolen by a toe. That was fractionally ahead. The rule that was designed in 1866 to create order now sometimes feels like it disrupts the very drama it was meant to protect. If you're still watching, you're exactly the type of football fan this channel was made for. Subscribe for more forgotten football history. There are hidden details most casual fans never notice. The 2009 clarification that a defender who has left the field of play without permission is considered to be on the touchline for offside purposes. The 2016 ruling that a player standing exactly on the halfway line cannot be offside. You must have part of your body in the opponent's half. The way gaining an advantage was refined over the years to stop attackers benefiting from deflections they never intended. Vittorio Pozzo, the legendary Italian coach, once watched McCracken and called him the absolute master of fuori gioco, offside. Lesser known is how close football came to abandoning attacking football altogether before 1925. Some historians argue that without that rule change, the professional game might have stagnated or even fractured. The offside law didn't just evolve with football. In many ways, it drove its evolution. Look closer at famous moments throughout history and you'll see the rule's fingerprints everywhere. That disallowed goal for Luis Diaz was not the first, nor will it be the last. Think of the 2002 World Cup, or countless Premier League title races decided by a single flag. Each one carries the weight of what might have been. The rule forces timing, intelligence, and bravery. It punishes laziness and rewards precision. It is the invisible architect of every attacking move we celebrate. If this story surprised you, hit like and subscribe. It helps more football fans discover these incredible stories. The legacy of the offside rule is nothing short of foundational. It is what separates football from the chaos of every player charging toward goal at once. It created the need for tactics, for defensive shape, for the cat and mouse game between attack and defense that makes matches beautiful. Without it, we might still be playing something closer to the rugby-style chaos of the 1850s. Every high press in the modern Premier League, every low block in a Champions League final, every perfectly timed through ball in a World Cup knockout game exists because of the geometry this law imposes. It has been tweaked, clarified, and technologized, but its core purpose remains to reward clever movement and punish those who get ahead of the play. And yet, it still divides us. Proposals surface every decade to change it again, perhaps only calling offside inside the final 25 yards, or requiring clear daylight between attacker and defender, or even judging by the entire body rather than a single toe. Some want it scrapped entirely. Most understand that would fundamentally alter the sport we love. The rule remains imperfect, frustrating, and essential. Return with me now to that October night in 2023 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The goal that wasn't, the flag that should never have gone up, the VAR room where human fallibility met football's most complex law. In that single moment, over a century and a half of history, tactics, controversy, and emotion collided. Luis Diaz's strike was eventually acknowledged as legitimate by everyone except the scoreboard. Liverpool fans felt the injustice deeply. But the incident reminded us all why this rule still matters. It isn't just about lines on a pitch. It is about timing, about space, about the heartbeat of anticipation that makes football addictive. It decides titles, careers, and legacies. It has shaped the sport since its earliest days and will continue to do so as long as the game is played. This documentary is based on historical records, interviews, reports, and publicly available information. Some claims and theories discussed remain disputed. Viewers are encouraged to explore the evidence and form their own conclusions. This video isn't for every football fan, but if you know someone who loves football history, share this story with them. Subscribe to Football Vault History, and I'll see you in the next documentary.